That seems to be about as close to that template as it can be, eh?
Template.
Yeah, I mean they're playing to a very strict template. Like, you know, there's a punk template and there are various metal templates.
Yeah.
But nothing seems novel and nothing really seems appealing to me. That's my subjective.
Well, they do change. They do change the style. From,
Yeah. Why don't we move to another track?
Okay. Set. One of my favorites.
Does it do something for you emotionally? This music.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Helps you calm down or something like that, or it wakes you up or gets you going, or
Yeah, it kind of gets me going.
See, for me, I don't really feel an emotional attachment of it on it. Okay, like I'm an old guy, it's something I would naturally pass on. I mean, but that's pretty much true of the whole genre, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know whether you want to take this as a good thing or a bad thing about sticking to the template, but they have put just about every part of the package that's known into it.
Yeah.
But the trouble is none of those parts to me sound terribly original. Like, there's probably a band like this happening in 1,000 bars in this town right now. You know?
Yeah, but I don't know.
Not to mention other cities.
I don't know if they'll achieve the notoriety of this band.
I don't know, but
Like, pretty much everyone who knows this genre knows this band.
yeah.
Well, the genre itself isn't exactly like mainstream or anything.
No, if you're
Yeah.
if you're in and look, there's metalheads that love all 9 or 10 or whatever number of genres there are.
More like 1,000 genres.
Well, yeah, well, it's more of a hierarchical splitting up, okay? But not everybody likes all metal either, right? Like you quite often have these love-hate things, like it's like almost like Crips and Bloods, you know,
Yeah.
between the different factions. I mean, that's part of it. Like, I remember there was a Dave Clark 5 versus the Beatles sort of faction because, well, people like me thought that the Dave Clark 5 were a bunch of pussies, you know, and copycats, which I think history will show that they pretty much were.
I mean, if you're still up for it after these, that's not necessary today, but I could show you like some of like a bit of their like newer material, such as for example the album Seven Sinners.
Yeah.
Or like,
I
or
wonder how
anything after 1994, because that's when the new singer is in.
Yeah.
And then you could say like your your view of this singer here versus the current singer.
What would you call the Metallica genre? How
Usually-
close is that to this?
It's probably a lot like heavier and darker.
Yeah.
Like usually they say Metallica just as like heavy metal.
To me, this is like the disco of metal. Okay? I mean, like, which I'm afraid is a bit of a put down.
Yeah.
But sorry, diehards.
Oh. How about this cover
Now
of
there's-
the Elvis song?
See, now they're going back into another very cliched paradigm. But yeah, there were Elvis spawned a million imitators, right?
Yeah.
But
You could say how you
but I mean, like
think about like
Well, like
how they
metal,
do this.
early rock and roll also painted itself into a box, right?
Yeah.
It was all 12-bar boogie woogie. Everything was 4/4. Everything was 3 chords.
Yeah.
You know, and people could get pretty good at their little licks, and things, and be really damn hot players.
We gotta
But
say.
I found these acts kind of boring to listen to night after night.
Yeah.
But remember, that was the genre just before mine.
Yeah.
Okay, because like the original rock and roll, like early 50s, tapering out in the mid 60s, really. That kind of rock and roll, right? Like
At least they don't. At least they don't constantly whine and complain about how hard life is.
no, it's very simple-minded, joyful music. So
you
it is.
gotta like give them credit for that.
They're not slagging anybody. They're not trying to piss anybody off for the sake of pissing people off, which is what a lot of today's music seems to me. I mean, okay.
Yeah.
As a kid, I never wanted my mom and dad really to approve of my music. I mean, I tried, I guess, at an early age, but I knew that wasn't going to
Much
happen.
earlier than my age.
And
Right.
when you're talking rock and roll, and your parents like it, aren't you kind of deflating the whole rock and roll experience?
Yeah, I guess. You mean like how on South Park with when the parents tried to get in on their new fad and
I think I might have seen that a long time ago, but I'm
the
not
one
sure.
where there was it's the one where the Japanese are trying to brainwash the kids into bombing Pearl Harbor.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'd have to see that again.
Well, Japan is doing
It's just an interview.
Yeah. But like a simple song structure will work
Yeah.
because people with short attention spans can carry it around in their heads. Okay? The average person cannot walk around and really replay an entire symphony in his head anymore. Well, musicians can, okay, but, and diehards, but that used to be a common human trait,
Yeah.
that people would remember things where they had no recording media, but when they went to a concert, they listened. And we have too many visual distractions, I think, today for music. Like,
Yeah.
I get a kick out of knowing who the label is and who ultimately owns them.
Yeah.
Like it'll probably have a scary looking indie type label on it, I bet. But behind that, okay, which one of the mega corporations is pushing this? Like,
Yes, you might have to look up their article on Wikipedia.
Yeah.
I don't know if it might be like Century Records or something like that.
Yeah. Oh, you know what?
Yeah.
Is that still rolling, or is your thing on?
Yeah, it's still rolling.
Still rolling. But there's one that might be interesting just to do off the screen. But it's just a clip of Zappa.
Yeah.
It's
I mean, this one.
mid-range mid-range accountants in Easter Hay. I think it's called. It's on
Yeah.
Quadrophenia disc there.
Yeah.
but where he does that little talk about the record industry.
Yeah.
But every rock and roll fan should hear that.
Like this guy has his own a new band now.
Yeah. No, this is. I mean, production-wise, I'd say this is pretty professional quality stuff. I mean, like,
like
the,
two of the original lineup are left.
like
two members of the original lineup
this
are
is
left.
kind of like Plenty, I think. You know, we're kind of getting closer into Plenty territory. There, Plenty's not at all metal band,
Yeah.
but
Well, I never listened to Plenty really, but anything on the progressive spectrum tends to attract like very kind of meticulous Asperger's type people. They can find engineers, no problem.
yeah.
They can get audio
They
quality.
get the good roadies, yeah. They may not get the promotion people, and so they have a small cult following. But
And I won't say it's the most original music. In
No.
fact, a lot of it's fairly unoriginal.
yeah,
But
like this
there's
is the
good
ballad
stuff-
template.
There's good stuff on that spectrum too. Because
Yeah.
if you extend that far enough, that's Pink Floyd and things too.
Oh
But,
yeah. I mean, you start with a paradigm and push it a little, you know. But this is, I think, a lot better executed as a song, and you know, as a production. I'm still not terribly thrilled about it, but
Yeah.
it's more,
I would rather listen to something lo-fi and creative than
Yeah.
something that's
yeah,
Like again, like I say, like probably some other day I'd show you like some material from their more recent years, and and also you keep in mind that a lot of fans of this group prefer the singer who's singing now over the current guy, and you could like see if like whether you like
yeah.
or
Well,
if,
like the other guy kind of sounded to me like,
if
like
like
1,000 hair bands. Sort of
you mean from the cover one that I played a
the
few
opening track.
the opening of one of this one?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's all the same singer, like you can
But again,
There's like a few,
you know, the obligatory
ranges.
vibrato, it's like Rockstar and Lounge Lizard rolled into one kind of thing. Yeah.
Lounge Lizard.
I mean, this guitar player's got chops, so
I think the guitar
Give
player
that.
is Michael Wyckoff,
yeah.
and the drummer
Yeah.
I think is
And I bet you this guy spent a lot of time listening to Robin Trower.
the guitar player.
Yeah.
Well, I guess if a question, if people ever get to ask him questions,
Yeah. But somebody,
But this was done-
somebody in this band likes Robin Trower.
so you see his influence in it.
Yeah, yeah.
If it was done before any songs here, if they were like done before 1993, because some of this stuff might be like 1991, but if it was done prior to 93, then the drummer is Ingo Schweitenberg.
Okay, because this is the other thing is everything I've heard so far sounds to me like it was done in the 80s.
Yeah.
Well, was it in fact?
It was either late 80s or early 90s.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
Because you
that
see, the thing
era.
is, I'll give, you know, I have my personal differences with Eric, right? But he worked long and hard with that band, right? Like to get a certain kind of sound. I mean, he's a Marillion fan, okay?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like if you're not a Marillion fan, you're not in the band, okay? You know? and a lot of Pink Floyd influence there, of course, and
Yeah.
you know, and a lot of the other, but a lot of very late '80s hair bands that I never had any use for. But this guy's 15 years younger than me, right?
Yeah.
So these were his heroes growing up, right?
Yeah.
Like I thought that was all kiddie crap. I mean, when I was I was in my 30s in the '80s. Okay, so the hair bands and
They wouldn't have.
you know what David Bowie was doing then and that kind of stuff. That just wasn't my thing at all. Okay.
Actually, like, this band, like, around the mid 90s, like 1996, this album they did, one of their songs they had on it, they did was a cover of a David Bowie song. They did a cover of Space Oddity.
Yeah.
Don't know if I get Zach interested in hearing that one.
This tune I could see being a fun one to experience live. You know.
Yeah. Whereas you're saying about how, like, you were in your...
When basically the woofers have taken over your respiratory functions for you.
Well, like, earlier, like, how you were saying about, like, the hair bands, and
Like-
by the time they came out, you were in your 30s.
Yeah.
Well, they wouldn't have trusted you anyway.
Yeah. And I didn't look like this in my 30s either. I would recommend the solo work of Robin Trower and Steve Hackett.
Robin Trower.
And Steve Hackett, yeah, like from the 70s forward, sort of,
Yeah.
you know.
Most of, like, the old members of the old lineup, they've gone through a few, like, just, like, mostly, like, usually, like, some, like name changes, but, not too many, like, lineup changes in the early days. Like, before there was some group called Gentry,
Yeah.
and then, Iron Fist and Powerful.
Yeah. You know what might be kind of an
This is a-
interesting experiment to be like just a